I'm definitely going to pull guard, though.
It's even more impressive when you know the whole story.
If that was in the CJI, he would have killed that guy.
There's B-Team, there's New Wave, there's Fight Factory. There's so many great options.
I haven't really paid attention during any of the jiu-jitsu skills.
If I was a coach, I would need this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a want. I would need it.
And we'll talk about kind of what's next for me a little bit later. But hey, guys, this podcast is brought to you by Resolite, the most comfortable and durable wrestling mats in the country. It's all we train on. It's what we have at the office. It's what we have at Penn State. It's what we have in American Top Team. Go add them to your wrestling facility today. I was going against this guy's name is Rick, and he was a lot bigger. He pulled guard on me, and he had like a tight little guard, real strong, big guy. And I got tired of trying to do outside passing, so then I finally just like went into him, and he got me in a heel hook, but I put the weight on the foot and got out of it, and then I ended up I pulled him into front headlock, took his back, threw my legs in, and then I just like basically had double underhooks and was just squeezing for like 5 minutes straight. And I was so tired after. I was taking pictures with all the guys from the clinic, and I like had to keep like resting my hands on my knees. I don't know why. I think just I need to get in jiu-jitsu shape.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm in pretty good wrestling shape, but
it's like when you know the transitions, it takes like less energy to do them.
yeah.
Like in wrestling, you could probably scramble for hours and not get tired.
Yeah.
But then in jiu-jitsu, you're like actively thinking through things. You're not as fluid. But I mean, I say that you looked great at the competition.
Well, with my pace too, like I'm going hard as balls for like these 5-minute rounds, and we did 5-minute rounds in a row.
Yeah.
And like I feel like a lot of people, they're like more relaxing, sitting on their butt, flowing, like trying to like do technique, where I'm like trying to like break my opponent for all 5 minutes. So I think that makes me a little tired too, but yeah, I think that's the way I got to train.
Yeah, for sure. We saw that a lot in the competition of the weekend, right? Where it was like...
Which one?
CGI.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
I like this shirt, actually. Let me show you guys real quick.
That's pretty nice.
It has like all the submissions on the back. I like it.
Oh, it had all the submissions that happened.
No, I don't. I think this was like they gave this shirt to us before.
Yeah, I was like, when was there a helicopter sweep?
Is that what it says?
It was like,
I didn't read
who
all of
hit
them.
a Peruvian necktie?
Yeah.
No. I was like, what event was I watching?
Yeah.
No, that was an incredible event, though.
It was awesome. Yeah, Craig and Seth and Anthony put on a good show. The production was really good. The matches were fire. My favorite matches was probably Andrew and Cade.
That was everyone's favorite match.
Yeah, everybody's favorite match.
Your match with Ty was the most exciting match of the tournament, I think by far, until those two.
I know. I was trying to win performance of the night. I don't even think there was a performance of the night bonus, but I was trying to win it. And then I was like, when Cade and Andrew got matched up, I'm like, they're going to one-up what we did. Yeah.
But they one-upped everyone. Like, I said it, and I thought I was, like, taking a risk, being like, that's the greatest jiu-jitsu match I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, a jiu-jitsu historian expert. And then everyone else has been coming up being like, that was the greatest no-gi match of all time.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It was fireworks. It was back and forth. It was 1-1 going into the third round. Yeah, that was.
I'm so glad that Andrew won the $20K bonus, because I thought that, I mean, until the last takedown, he was winning that fight. And then he ended up losing it, which I don't think that he got robbed or anything. It was a really close fight. Yeah. But I'm really glad that he won the most entertaining grappler. If I couldn't win it, I'd want him to win it.
Yeah. And we could talk a little bit more about this, but like while the Levi thing in the finals is kind of like left up to what is criteria and what the judges are looking at and deeming important.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was not the semifinals, that was the finals?
Andrews and Cade. Yeah, that should have been the final.
That would have been insane.
Everybody wanted more rounds.
Yeah,
I thought because it was, and also I love, like, just a side note, I love that they had like the walls, because then people couldn't back out of bounds.
Yeah,
we were watching the ADCC, and then Isaac was competing, and he just kept taking his opponent out of bounds with no penalty, and he took him out probably 15 times, and then ended up getting caught in the overtime with a couple minutes left, but he was dominating the whole match. But if that was in the CJI, he would have killed that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody was chanting one more round. I thought that because it was like this first inaugural thing, I thought Craig was gonna be like, all right, go ahead, go another round. Well, I thought they were gonna let him go again.
Yeah, I panned the camera over to Craig, and he was just like, He's like, do you
Really?
want to do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it would have messed up the judges' scoring because then it would have been instead of
Well,
like
they needed 2 more rounds.
yeah, they would have needed. I'm down.
Yeah.
Make it a 5.
I thought they were gonna just make it a 5 round. Like I
But
thought
then,
that because
then if it was for the finals, it would have been a 5 round. So if they were actually, that would have been crazy.
they should have just asked Andrew and Cade like, hey, do you guys want to go 2 more rounds? Because and I bet you they both would have said yes
In a heartbeat.
because they both didn't know if they did enough to win
Yeah.
because it was so close. So they're probably like, oh yeah, I'll keep going.
Yeah. They also emptied the gas tank though. They were both exhausted at the end.
Yeah.
Because they just went through like a war. No, but you were talking about the alley. I kept calling it the pit, but I guess they were calling it the alley.
Well, it's because there's a different like thing. It's called the pit, like with the karate combat.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit smaller.
Yeah.
I already feel spoiled because like I watched the next day we were watching ADCCs and I was like, this is archaic. Like they're just letting them go out on the mats.
Yeah.
Like, and I used to love that.
They're like going on the floors and stuff.
I used to love that. There's a highlight of like
Damien or no, Cody Steele.
Cody Steele.
Yeah.
And that's sick. Like he taps him out on like the hotel floor. Like that's awesome. But at the same time, watch it the next day and I'm like, they should just have a pit.
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous. So I almost feel spoiled. And I think you're right. I think Isaac, especially, just the way that he controls center and is like hard to move and is good at pushing his opponents towards the boundary. I think he would just crush it in that type of environment.
Yeah, it was fun. I hope to do it every year.
Yeah, I hope they have it every year too.
Mm-hmm.
The your favorite match other than yourself, you'd say Cade and Andrew.
Yeah.
Other than that, which matches stuck out to you? Which performances?
Nicky Rod just was a beast the whole weekend. He just was so. It looked so easy for him. He was just taking people down, taking their back, and then choking them almost unconscious.
Yeah.
So
4 for 4 rear naked chokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Flawless.
I had this guy's back yesterday, and I like don't know how people get choked so easily because he's like fighting my hands, and I'm trying to like lift his chin up and go around, and then they fight my arm down, and I have to do it with my other arm. But Nicky Rod just makes it look so easy. I don't know how. I need to learn from him.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many different like systems of attack from back there. But if you get your arms tangled up, you get exhausted quick.
Yeah.
You like burn out your arms trying to go for a choke. It's tiring for sure. So your training camp leading up to this event, talk a little bit about it because people. I mean, so how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
About, I'll say 6 weeks, but it's more been like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because, so basically, I've dabbled in jiu-jitsu. Like we've done rolls like over the last couple years, but I've never really like gone to a practice like aside from like Bruno's practice in Hawaii when we went there, and a couple B team practices. But when I go down and I've trained with the B team, I've been there to like help them with wrestling, and I haven't really paid attention during any of the jiu-jitsu skills. I'm like, there was like one skill maybe I learned, but like aside from that, I was just there to wrestle them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, cause I was still just like in wrestling mode. And so, but I've dabbled in, I've wrestled against jiu-jitsu guys. So I have a little bit of experience there, but, doing pure jiu-jitsu, I couldn't train for my match against Drew in Houston, so that was like June 8th. So I tore my MCL at the Olympic trials against Dake in the first match.
Off the first exchange.
Yeah, in his first single leg. So then after that, I was doing like clinics and camps and like trying to recover, but I didn't really have like a whole lot of time to recover from that. And so then like they asked me to do this jiu-jitsu match. I'm like, I should be good by June 8th. I think that, or like with June 9th or whatever it was. But I still didn't really get to train because my knee was still hurt from there. It was starting to get a little bit better, but I think me and you did a couple sessions like for like 15 minutes. You showed me how to do an arm triangle, and then I got the sub with the arm triangle.
1 for 1, baby.
So I was undefeated for a little bit in jiu-jitsu, and that was fun.
The glory days.
Yeah, in the glory days. So after that, a few weeks gone by, I still do clinics. This whole summer was like packed full of clinics. Yeah. I was gone for like weeks at a time, traveling from state to state to state. Like I didn't really have any time to train jiu-jitsu at all. And even in the last 6 weeks, I was gone. Like one of the weeks I was completely gone, doing clinics and just super busy. And then, but when I started training jiu-jitsu, Isaac and his friend Adam were coming up to State College, and they're like, hey, let's start training for CJI. This might have been towards the end of June. Yeah, towards the end of June. And that day, I was training jiu-jitsu with this one guy at Camp Bruno, and I retore my MCL. So then I basically, for the first like week and a half that Isaac was here, I was just watching him teach, and I was going so slow with technique, but I couldn't really like train hard. Then we got a couple good weeks in training. I went away for a week doing camps. First week of August, I was completely wasn't training any jiu-jitsu because I was doing camps a little bit at the end of July. And then playing pickleball, I dove at a ball maybe like 5 weeks before the CJI. I dove and I like hit my wrist, which I thought it was okay. This was probably mid-July. Thought it was okay, and I trained on it for a few weeks after. But then one day wrestling, I just like posted my hand on the mat and I twisted it, and definitely I thought I like broke my wrist. It was really bad pain. I couldn't rotate it at all. So then I found out that I think I tore a cartilage in my wrist. So I had to take another week off completely because of that. So really, all in total, I maybe trained like 4 total weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe like 3 good weeks of training to where I could like actually like train hard and get good rounds in. But I had really good coaches, so that was helpful. I had Isaac, obviously was staying here with me. Nick Ronan came in, Anthony Pellicino, Renee Souza, Isaac Greeley. All these guys came in to help me, and they were a blessing because it gave me a good strategy. I think luckily Ty, when I fought against Ty, he just tried to wrestle me the whole time. So my game plan against him was to just stay on my feet as long as possible. I did not want to take him down because we worked a little bit from the guard, but we worked a lot off of like passing our opponent's guard when they pull guard on us, not really like off of the takedown exchanges. So he was trying to give me his leg, trying to give me underhooks. I was trying to not let him get any connection on me. I was just trying to like keep him away, keep hand fighting, and then trying to blast him, take him down, let him up right away. Because I thought that would be enough in the judge's eyes for initiating action, which was the number one criteria. But and I actually thought I won the first round, and could have seen myself winning the second round. But in each round he had a really tight submission threat, so I think that kind of gave it to him. But no, it was a fun event. I'm really happy that I did it. I love competing in front of big crowds. I love having a walkout song, and but yeah, so 6 weeks. Does that answer your question?
That's crazy. Well, everyone's like, oh yeah, he's only been doing it 6 weeks. That's crazy. I'm like, you guys don't even understand. He's been injured for most of his training camp.
Yeah.
And so even those weeks where you would call them good weeks of training, even then you're doing stuff at 50%. You're walking through positions. You're not like
my wrist keeps like getting locked up.
Yeah, you're not going hard in those positions and those training sessions. So it's like, it's even more impressive when you know the whole story, and how little you've been doing this. So I'd say you have a bright future in it for sure.
Yeah, I think my wrestling helps me a lot.
Yeah,
knowing that no one's gonna take me down. Really, I don't think I'll ever get taken down.
Yeah,
in jiu-jitsu,
you're just gonna be good at playing on top.
Yeah,
and then,
I'm definitely gonna pull guard though. I actually pulled guard last night on this one guy. I was tired. I was like wrestling him, and I got tired.
That's terrifying.
So
too.
I just sat to my butt, and I think I swept him.
A good wrestler pulling guard and like scooting towards you, and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
He seems confident on his butt, and he's not gonna get taken down. Talk a little bit about working with Isaac. He came and did most of his training camp out here too, and then you got a chance to coach him at ADCCs.
Yeah, he looked great. His wrestling and his hand fighting is unbelievable. He gave the guy's ankle kind of in wrestling. Sometimes you give somebody your leg to try to like cradle him or win Dixie or whatever you're gonna do. He kind of gave the guy's ankle because he was gonna take his back. He felt really comfortable, and the guy just inverted into a knee bar and kind of got him quickly.
Yeah.
So with him leading that match, like obviously looking back at it, he should have just not gave the guy's foot and just continued doing what he was doing the rest of the match, and he would have easily won. The guy had a negative point against him, but Isaac's gonna be he's just gonna keep getting better, and we're gonna keep training together in the future. So,
One thing that stuck out to me in the second day of ADCCs, when they did the absolutes, was usually in wrestling you have like a 45-minute buffer at least, right? Usually you have an hour between matches, but like usually there's like a hard stop, like it has to be like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Not in jiu-jitsu.
No, there was nothing.
I watched Isaac's first match. I had a 30-minute flight from Casper, Wyoming to Denver, Colorado.
Not enough time.
I watched his first match against Ryan Atkin, and he won. And literally as he won, we're taking off. I'm like, all right, 30 minutes. By the time I landed, the semifinals were going on. So Isaac lost in the quarters to Cyborg, missed that match, and then the semis were already going on. So there was already like 2 rounds had passed in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It was wild. So he comes off the mat, right? We go into the back room, and then it was like he popped out, and it wasn't even like you had time to tell him anything or like I think Jason Rao gave him some like quick notes, and they were already like, hey, we need you.
Yeah, you're staging.
Yeah,
and they staged you like so. I mean, even like before his first match on Saturday, they staged him an hour before he competed. I'm like, they need to chill with that.
He was waiting. That like they were actually waiting on him, which was crazy.
Really?
Like he had no time, no turnaround time, right? But they were like, hey, dude, like, come on, we gave you 5 minutes. Like we gave you they were already giving him a buffer. Like they were like helping him out almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is wild. They're like just, boom, any weight. It's absolute. So it's all weights, and they have no break. It's like pretty wild.
Hey guys, this podcast is also brought to you by Jocko Fuel. Hard work, clean fuel, no excuses. They have electrolytes, supplements, protein, energy. I'm really picky about what I put into my body, but I know that everything that Jocko Fuel makes is really good for me, so go get some.
You have a little announcement you want to give us?
Yeah, I'll give it. Oh, excuse me. Gotta stretch a little bit before. So this is the official announcement. I thought that this would be a great place to do it. I think it's very fitting being on the Athletes Ocean podcast to announce that I am retiring from the sport of wrestling. I've been wrestling for 22 years now, so it's been a really big part of my life. And we'll talk about kind of what's next for me a little bit later, but I have some new things that I want to tackle. And but yeah, I just want to officially announce that I'm retiring. Done wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big day.
Big day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been on your mind for a while.
Well, I knew I was retired after the Olympic trials. I knew this was gonna be my last year. I wanted to end it with an Olympic gold. So even after the Olympic trials, I was still the alternate. So in case Date couldn't compete or whatever the reason may be, I was staying ready. And but now that the Olympics have come and gone, and with the World Team Trials coming up in a couple weeks, I think a lot of people were asking me if I'm going to compete, but the answer is no. I'm retired, and feels good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You excited for what's next?
Yeah, we have a lot coming next, so we can probably just jump right into what's next. But I think before we jump into what's next, let's talk about let's break down my top 5 favorite matches from my career, and I'll throw some honorable mentions in there because I was thinking about this. Or we'll throw the honorable mentions in first.
Okay.
So one honorable mention, I gotta call out Ryan Deal.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only guy that beat me in high school. I was 176-1, and Ryan Deal beat me pretty bad in the state semis my sophomore year, and he'd beat me a few times before then, like when we were growing up. But one of my favorite matches was when I got to wrestle him again the following summer at the Disney Duels, and I almost got a major. I think I beat him by 7, but it seemed to me that, and we'll kind of touch base on losses later too, but every time I've lost in wrestling, I've always gotten so much better, and I've always wanted to beat the person that's beaten me. So that was an honorable mention, Ryan Deal at the Disney Duels. Number 5 would probably be my senior year NCAA title. I thought that I could have competed better, but it was still awesome to cap off my senior year in my last college wrestling match ever with a win in the NCAA finals. And I think I got a major.
Who was that against?
Tyler Berger. Yeah. I got a big scoring move in the first period, a dresser dump, and then I think the second period he almost rode me out the whole period, and then third period I think I just rode him out. So the way it kind of ended wasn't as exciting as maybe I wanted it to be, but since I had such a big lead, I kind of just rode him out, and that was that. Number 4 would be my match against Burroughs at the Olympic trials.
That was epic.
Yeah, that was probably that was one of my favorite matches, as a match, just the excitement around it, and I think that was the only time I ever celebrated after a match. Obviously, beating a legend like Burroughs was really hype, and it was something that I visualized a lot. Was just winning those big matches. So I think doing it in front of the Penn State crowd, even though things were a little bit chippy, with the Penn State crowd and Burroughs, and with the situation with Mess and Brink, that was probably my 4th favorite match. My 3rd favorite match was probably against Darian Cruz, my freshman year in the state semifinals at 103. So he was a person that I scouted all year. I game planned for him. I knew he was going to be really tough on the edge, because he would kind of relax, and then you get to the edge and then he sprints and he tries to score really hard on the edge, and that's a place where most people relax. So I was kind of ready for that, and I ended up getting the win in ride out. Let me see what my second favorite match was. I wrote these down earlier. Oh, this was a good one. Luke Bruman. Luke Bruman was a guy that I beat for my first ever PGA, or not PGA, I'm thinking about the PGA Tour, PJW, Pennsylvania Junior Wrestling state title when I was 10 years old. So a little backstory behind this was Luke Bruman beat me 8-0, absolutely killed me. I was on my back the entire match 2 months before the state tournament, and went to the qualifier tournament for the states, took second, lost to Mikey Kemmer. And then Mikey Kemmer wrestled Luke Bruman the first match on the other side of the bracket, and Bruman beat him. I made it to the finals. Luke Bruman made it to the finals. These are 1-1-1 matches, or 2-1-1. They're really short. And he had a 3-0 lead on me, but I mounted a massive comeback, ended up winning 5-3. And that was my first state title, and I was so pumped. We played Another One Bites the Dust all the way home from Queens. Me and my dad, we were just bumping Another One Bites the Dust, and that was I think that was when I was okay, I'm pretty good at wrestling. I figured out a way to win this. This guy killed me the last time we wrestled, and I made such a big adjustment. He had a lead on me, and I came back, and doesn't matter if you get taken down, you can always come back and win, and that's kind of why now, even if I get taken down first in a match, or if I'm down a few points, I know I can come back and win. You just got to score more points than the other guy at the end of the match. So that was probably my second favorite. And then the last one would be, so I missed one. So the Darian Cruz would have been maybe an honorable mention. My second NCAA title was we'll go 2-1. My second NCAA title was awesome. Because I did have a couple torn ligaments in my knee. I wrestled at Rutgers that year, and I tore 2 ligaments in my knee, and we didn't really know if I was going to be able to come back and wrestle. So I was doing rehab all day, every day. I've talked about this before, but, spent so much time rehabbing and working with Dan Monthly and the coaches to just try to get healthy enough to be able to have a chance to compete at the nationals. And, I was able to, and each match was really hard, and but I felt through the tournament I was doing better and better. I had to wrestle Mikey Kemmer in the quarters, which should have been probably the NCAA finals, but I ended up wrestling Hidlay in the finals, and that whole tournament I just remember competing with gratitude, because one of my goals was to win the Hodge Trophy, and after I got hurt that year at Rutgers, that was no longer an option because you have to be undefeated. So, but I think before then I was probably one of the lead guys, because I had the most pins, and I was tech falling people, and I was doing good, and then I got hurt, and then it wasn't about winning the Hodge Trophy anymore. It was about just enjoying competing and having fun, loving the sport, being grateful for the opportunity to compete. And then when that happened, I was able to compete with a lot more peace in my heart at the Nationals, knowing, my knees hurt, and I have nothing to lose really here. I'm just going to go do my best. And I went out and I was able to win. And that was just I felt like that was a true testament to my character and like responding to adversity. And it was a chance to show my strength, and I was able to show God's strength through me as I competed. And I'm just super grateful that I had the opportunity to finish out that season. And then number one would be the first time I won the NCAA title. So it wasn't as close of a match in the finals. I think I won by 6 or so, but this was my sophomore year, and it was just like my goal was to be a 4-time national champ, and I lost my freshman year, but then my goal changed to be a 3-time national champ. So my sophomore year, kind of achieving that first dream, like most people dream of becoming an NCAA champ, and some people dream of being a 4-time, but like really you want to at least win once. Like that's kind of like that was kind of like my mindset. And once you win once, then you keep winning more. But that was like the first time I really reached, like that was probably the highest goal I'd ever reached at the time, was becoming an NCAA champion. So I was just super happy, and it was a lot better coming off of a loss from the last year. Like being there, I was there my freshman year and I lost. It was heartbreaking, like devastated me. And then being in that scenario again, instead of losing, I was able to come out with the win. That was probably my favorite college match, or my favorite match of my entire career, probably.
Yeah, and that NCAA tournament where you had to just compete freely and with gratitude to just love the sport. I mean, I'm sure you took a lot away from that into your future competitions, right?
Yeah, for sure. I realized that we're not competing for other people's approval. I think Gabby Garcia, actually, it's funny, but she said after our match, like, don't ever compete for a medal. We're not competing to please others. We're not competing to put on a medal on our neck, or we're not competing for a specific trophy. Compete because you love it and because you want to be great and you want to score points or whatever the reason may be. But it shouldn't be about trying to please others or to try to win an award or try to win a medal. You should compete because you love to compete and because it's fun.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. With that, I mean, do you have advice to younger wrestlers?
I would just take that advice. Don't compete for a medal. I'd say wrestling is such a tough sport and it's so serious a lot of times, but the more fun you can make it and the more exciting of a style you wrestle, the more fun it is. I think that the more points you score, the more fun wrestling is. So I would just encourage, don't try to just win matches by 1 point. Even if you're up by a point in a short time, keep trying to score. Try to build your lead and extend it, and try to dominate more every time you wrestle somebody, and just have fun while you're doing it, and don't forget to smile.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back at your whole wrestling career, do you have a favorite practice partner that you would love to go with?
I really like going with Zane. He was probably my main practice partner throughout college. I just think wrestling with Zane was so beneficial for me because he was so hard to score on. So I knew if I could score on Zane, I could score on anybody in the world. He has probably the best defense in the world, the best head and hands defense. It's so hard to get to his legs. Some practices I'd get so frustrated, I would just stand up and try to get him to grab my legs. And then sometimes he wouldn't grab my legs, and it would make me so mad. So me and Zane, we've had a lot of tough practices together, start pulling each other's shirts over their head. And I remember at National, before my first NCAA title in St. Louis, I remember we were going with Zane, and we were kind of getting just a little bit roughhousing with each other, and I pulled his shirt over his head, and he kept wrestling. He couldn't see. He kept wrestling with the sweatshirt over his head, and but no, he was probably one of my favorite partners. Just obviously one of the greatest of all time. So having those guys in the room with me was awesome. We had a lot of good partners.
Yeah, hard to take down, and then if he's on top, look out.
Yeah. I mean, no better partner than Zane. Hard to hold down, hard to get out from, and hard to take down.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to stop.
Good dude too.
Yeah.
What about your favorite techniques? Because now you're shifting. What are your favorite wrestling techniques?
Yeah, I would say number one would be the Winn-Dixie.
For sure.
I think that's kind of been my trademark move. So just being creative in the wrestling room. I think that the way that I learned these techniques was just being creative and not being afraid to try things in the wrestling room. And then, like, even during practice, if we're play wrestling or before or after practice, like, hey, let's try to make up moves. And I used to do that. I used to be like with one of my buddies, and we just try to make up moves. And I haven't really done that in a while, so maybe I should get back to that. But yeah, the Winn-Dixie's number one. I love the Jody single leg. That's probably my favorite leg attack. Jody Stripmatter was my club coach. And one of my club coaches, and this is one of his most successful moves, kind of like a knee pull, but it's slightly different. I hit that a lot in college. I do it from the collar tie, from the post, or just from the open. On top, I love the crossface cradle. That's probably my favorite pinning combination. On bottom, I just love standing up, getting out.
Easy, simple.
Yeah, you just got to stand up.
Yeah, don't make it complicated.
I think one of the biggest things on bottom is, like, people are good at standing up. They're good at getting to their feet, but then they keep getting mat returned. And then they get mat returned, and then they don't want to come back up because they don't want to get mat returned again. But if you get really good at not letting somebody mat return you, I think that is going to be really valuable. I mean, if no one can bring you down to the mat, they're going to get called for stalling. They have to cut you. So that's kind of what I got really good at. I also want to give a special shout-out to Spirit Water. They have infinitely recyclable bottles, 100% aluminum, BPA free. It's something that I give to my guests every time they come over to my house. So go get some Spirit Water and nourish your soul.
What are you going to miss most about wrestling?
I just love the team environment, just training with my brothers and, going to compete with my brothers. I think that's one thing I missed from Penn State was just, like, getting to compete as part of a team. And we don't do it as much, like, in senior level wrestling. A lot of times, like, you're just picking your own schedule and, like, not everybody of the team's going. But even just training with the team all the time, miss the people that are in the wrestling room. And but, yeah, I'm still going to be involved in wrestling. We'll talk about that more. But, yeah, I just love the team aspect of it. I like competing in front of big crowds. But I'm going to continue to be able to do that, too, at jiu-jitsu. So, from wrestling specifically, probably just like the people on the team.
What are the top goals you didn't achieve?
I think my goal was to be a 4-time state champ. I ended up being a 3-time. My goal was to be a 4-time national champ. I ended up being a 3-time champ. My goal was to be an Olympic champion. My goal should have been to be a 4-time Olympic champion because then maybe I would have won 3. So, but now a lot of freestyle wrestling is just spending time. Like, if I continue to wrestle, and it's easy to say this because I'm done, but, like, if I continue to wrestle, I would keep getting better and probably achieve a lot of those goals. It's just time spent in the sport. Like, when I was a kid, I used to lose a lot. I would lose in the finals, and I felt like I would never kind of get over that hump. But then I would get over the hump and start winning at my level, and then there would be, like, a next level, and you'd lose a lot there. And then you get over the hump and you start winning. And then there's a next level. So there's always levels to it. The Olympics is about the highest level in wrestling, though. So there's so many good guys around the world, a lot of good guys in the United States. But I would say, like, I would still say I achieved my goals in wrestling, specifically in college wrestling, because I think the higher you set your goals, the more successful you're going to be. Like, if your goal is to be a 1-time national champ and you fall short, you don't become a national champ at all. But if it's to become a 4-time national champ and you fall short, you might win 2 or 3. So I think people need to set higher goals. And I don't like when people say, like, oh, you're being unrealistic or whatever it is. Like, maybe. But I'm not a realist. I'm an optimist. And I believe that anything is possible. So, and when I go compete, I believe I'm going to win. So I think set as high as goals as possible. And then you're going to learn what it takes to do that, and then you just do whatever it takes. It's not too hard. It's not too, like, complex, but it's hard to do all the work and to do everything right. It's hard, but it'll be worth it. And it'll, like, for me, wrestling has provided me with everything in my life. You know, it helped me come to Penn State, get a scholarship, meet my wife, meet some of my best friends, give me an opportunity to pursue business in the sport of wrestling, and bless me financially. So I'm super grateful for, everything I've learned from wrestling.
Heck yeah. Fired up. With all that being said, why are you retiring?
Well, the number one reason is because, there's a lot of number one reasons. I'd say one, like, the only reason I would continue to compete would be kind of for pride, like because I want to win and because I didn't reach that goal. That would be like the main reason why I would continue to wrestle if I did. I want to win the Olympics, and that was one of my biggest goals, the last 5 years specifically. So that would be, but I don't want to ever compete because of pride or to win a medal, like we talked about. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's actually a good thing to want to win. Like, you want to win the medal, and you want to win matches and everything, but that's not our number one priority when we're competing. Our number one priority should be because we love it. And I still love wrestling, but there's just other things I want to pursue, and I don't want to put those things on hold just because of my pride, just because I want to win. So that's why I'm moving to Austin, Texas. We're going to headquarter Athletes Ocean there, which is our company, obviously. And that's probably my number one reason for moving down to Austin, and, not being able to, if we could if Penn State wrestling team was in all of our coaches and teammates, if they were in Austin, maybe I would continue to wrestle a little bit, but we want our whole team to move down there. I think if we all move down there, it's going to help our work become a lot more efficient, and we're going to get a lot more done. It's going to be exciting. Austin is a big jiu-jitsu hub, and I want to continue to compete in jiu-jitsu, so I think that's a good place to go. And we can grow the jiu-jitsu side of Ocean as well. And then last thing is I'm going to start a wrestling club actually in Round Rock, which is like 20 minutes north Austin. I think we're going to call it Ocean Elite. Yeah, I think that's going to be the name. So I'm pretty excited that that's going to be at Round Rock High School. And we're going to be doing probably 2 different groups. There's going to be, like a youth middle school and then a high school practice 3 times a week. So I'm excited. That's going to start here in October. So I'm actually moving down to Austin in September, middle to late September, and going to get cranking on it right away.
Dang.
So Eric's already down in Austin, our business partner Eric. Hopefully John and Gino move down too. Maybe we get Jack to move down. But that's kind of what's next for me. I might do the AIGA qualifier in Los Angeles in October. So Renee asked me to be on the finishers only team. So yeah. I might do that.
Wow, that'd be exciting.
And then that would be that'll be in Kazakhstan, if we qualify, and the winning team gets $600K. So that'd be good too.
Yeah,
it's split along like six guys maybe, so it's still $100K. Yeah,
that's still awesome.
So that'll be a good event to do maybe.
They should put you 4th because it's like nobody's gonna finish you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just get them tired.
No matter what, you're gonna blank that.
Yeah.
Whoever's like been finishing people, they just put you in there, and then it's like you mess up their flow. Man, that'll be exciting. So down in Austin, you have plans, I'm sure, to continue training BJJ.
Yeah. Yep.
What are you thinking? What do you think of gyms wise? Because there's a lot of great options, right? And you might not have made your decision yet. But there's B Team, there's New Wave, there's Fight Factory, there's so many great options. 10th Planet Austin, like there's a lot of great places to train down there.
Yeah, it's really hard just because it's there's obviously like a lot of like politics and a lot of beef specifically between the B Team and the New Wave.
Yeah.
For me, like I love them all. Like I don't have any beef with any of them, but I feel like I don't know. They're like, if you pick a team, you gotta stick. Like for me, like I'm about loyalty. So like if I pick a team, I gotta like stick and like defend my guys.
Right.
And I don't know if I want to do that. Like I just want to train with all of them. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of my time will be spent with the Tackett brothers at Fight Factory. They're Christian and 2 guys that I highly respect the way that they compete and the way that they live their lives. And so I want to spend a lot of time with those, but I love a lot of the B Team guys. I love a lot of the New Wave guys. So hopefully, maybe we could do some reconciliation while we're down there. I'd like to bring everybody together. We're all children of God, and our goal is to help each other get to heaven. So competing in jiu-jitsu is just something that we do. It's not who we are. Right. So I would like to, and I don't know if that'll be the case or not, but But yeah.
Yeah, so Ocean HQ, Austin, Texas. Why specifically Austin? Just BJJ hub. You like the area?
Yeah, there's a lot of like high profile people too, like you know, just like a lot of the best jiu-jitsu guys, and then like Joe Rogan's down there. I think Lex Friedman, you know, Isaac's friends with those guys, and I think that it'll be good for the company. And then it's a tech hub too. Yeah. So we're building a software company. We've built a software company in Ocean. So being around people that, you know, being in a big city like Austin, there's going to be a lot of people that you can connect with compared to like a small town like State College. There's not too many people that you can connect with here to be able to like grow your business. And so I think being able to be surrounded with some of those guys will be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, we have a new app coming out in Ocean.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we brought a guy onto the team, Jack. He's been freaking crushing it. Jeff Riccio has been doing all of our thumbnails and all of our design, like a lot of our thumbnail designs. So it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be really high level user experience and user interface, and hopefully be out in the next 2 weeks. It's supposed to be out in the next week, the last 5 weeks. So we're gonna start calling Jack next week, Jack, if we don't get this released soon. So, yeah. But no, it's gonna be downloaded on the App Store and on Android. So it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, stay tuned for the Ocean app.
I'm really excited. All the pre renderings we've seen, it looks so beautiful.
So much nicer than our current app, and our current app is nice.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we have a good. I mean, we've been all mainly web based up until this point, but we're ready for this. We're ready for this redesign and reboot. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge, and you know, we've got a lot of great features that we're adding. You know, some as soon as the app is launched, and some to come in the future. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about Team Spaces, if they're a coach, how they can get involved?
Yeah, so we've basically built a central hub for entire teams, entire high schools or club teams. So if you're a coach, I would highly recommend checking out Team Spaces. We built an entire package and a curriculum full of instructional videos. I think there's 14 or 15 instructional videos in there. You're getting 12 to 15 hours of technique, and then it'll be a central hub for you to kind of communicate with your team and to organize your curriculum, write out your practice plans, set your goals for your team, and everybody on your team will get access with their own individual login. So it's a much higher discounted price compared to buying these instructionals individually. So, you know, being able to get bulk access for your team is going to be really, really cool and something we're really excited about. I think it's going to change the way that, you know, wrestling exists. I think that a lot of people watch instructionals, but they're not really sure how to implement that into their team and how to help motivate their team and help their team peak at the right time. So that's something that we've built into our platform, and it's going to really help coaches become a lot more successful.
It's incredible. I mean, it's the kind of thing that I wish that I had when I was wrestling, you know, but also as I'm older now, and I'm looking at like coaching roles, right? And I'm like, if I was a coach, I would need this. Yeah. Like, it's not like a want, I would need it. And then between the scheduling and all of the technique breakdowns and the amount of time you have with the kids is so limited. And then you have so many other things you have to do as a coach. It's like, takes a ton of stuff off your plate. And then the kids that are really disciplined will go into a deep dive and watch a ton of technique videos on their own. And even the kids that are not quite as disciplined, you still have all the tools that you're giving them, and they're going to be better off because they have, I'll log on to Ocean, I'll spend 20 minutes learning this or learning that. It's exposing them to such a higher level of wrestling and technique. Yeah, it's such a blessing.
We've done a soft launch already. We have over 30 to 40 teams that have already signed up with Team Spaces, and the coaches that have been using it are absolutely loving it. I know like Sean Miller is one of the coaches at Journeyman Wrestling up in New York. I was just with him yesterday. He said it's crazy how awesome it's been for their team. So we have some testimonials on our website about that. But yeah, Team Spaces is gonna be awesome. We're excited.
Heck yeah. Thank yous for your wrestling career. Shout outs.
I would say like the biggest thing would be thank you to my dad for always driving me to practices, always taking me to tournaments, giving me everything I need to be successful. I think that obviously without my dad, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'd like to thank all my coaches. I'd I've had so many coaches. So if I forget some, I'm sorry. But let's just go through Vince D'Agostine, Sonny Abe, not Vincenzo Joseph.
Vincenzo Joseph. Shout out.
Doug Joseph
Doug
is my
Joseph.
pride coach. Coach Waller obviously had a massive impact on my wrestling. Jody Strittmatter, Isaac Greeley, Coach Newell, all my other youth coaches and club coaches. Obviously all the Penn State coaches, Coach Kale, Casey, Cody Varner, Jimmy Kennedy, Frank Molinaro. All of these guys have helped me tremendously throughout my career. I'd like to thank you to Maddie. She's standing back here. Thank you, Maddie, for always supporting me and everything that I do. You sacrifice a lot for me. So, but yeah, I'm excited for what's next. I should thank my mom probably. My mom was always my emotional support.
Yeah, your mom's awesome.
Always there for me. So, did I miss anybody? Are you crying?
Oh.
Maddie's crying. But no, I'm excited for what's next. Obviously, wrestling has been a big part of my life and something that I've spent a lot of my time doing. But I'm a child of God first, and and a wrestler second. So now I'm gonna be able to do a lot more and impact kids in a different way, coaching at a wrestling club and with my company Ocean. So it's gonna be awesome.
Let's do it.
Let's go.